Yes. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you like this, also like this, like, go ahead and do that too. Oh wait, you might be wanting a little context, huh? I mean, you did click the title. You saw the title of the video. You clicked it. You saw it. Oh, well, was you right? Well, yeah. This that way it's not clickbait. Anyways, let me TLDR you right quick if you're unfamiliar. Huey Freeman is a character from the show The Boondocks. It aired for 3 seasons on Adult Swim. I know there's a fourth season, but in this dojo, yeah, that's non-canonical. And a major reason for this fantastic show being having the cultural impact that it did, and the main reason I consider the fourth season non-canonical is because of this man, Mr. Aaron McGruder. He created the comic strip and then got it developed through Sony, and Sony did pulled a Dave Chappelle on them where they're like, yeah, we don't need you to keep making the show. Yeah, they really did, to a point where it's now said that there's going to be a season 5 on HBO Max. And fingers crossed for it, but like Dave Chappelle's disappointed me. Everything tends to disappoint me after Obama. There's a like I've wanted to do a video titled "Black Before Barack," but like I haven't really been able to find a way to really hammer that on in. But back to the Boondocks. So, what in particular might I be? Let me give you an overview of the show, just in case you don't know. These gentlemen, the Freeman family, they move to Woodcrest after the grandfather gets a little bit of money. He moves to Woodcrest in order to, give his grandsons access to a better life. And one of the main themes of the show is showing how both the culture that they come from and the culture that they have entered to, how the striking differences between the two. But there is a very very specific statement that Huey made that I am saying he was right about. And it comes from this episode. It's a black president, Huey Freeman. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this episode, it covers the election of Barack Obama back in 2008. And one of the bigger plot lines of the show is how Huey like how the entire Freeman family is taking it. Let's actually run it back right quick. So, each of the Freemans represent a let's just say a caricature of black American life. As far as I know, Aaron Magruder is a descendant. So Granddad represents the older generations, Huey represents the revolutionary spirit, and Riley represents a marketer's wet dream as far as those who really take their notes and cues from the media, as opposed to Huey, who's presented as more of a reader and a thinker, and Granddad, who's just stuck in his ways and having one of the more interesting times in adjusting to to their situation. So during the It's a Black President Huey Freeman It's a Black President Huey episode, Huey is just melancholy. He is kind of numb to the entire situation, and he's just like, I'm not really feeling it, and makes plans with Uncle Ruckus, another member of the show. Actually, let's it's kind of fortuitous that we ended up right here. That's Uncle Ruckus, that's Tom, that's Jasmine, Tom's mixed race daughter. Hilarity. They really stepped away from these characters, particularly in that non-canonical fourth season. The one in the third, but it's a fun show. Anyways, throughout the entire episode, like I said, he's not feeling it, and and it's so much foreshadowing in that episode where they go to a to a car wash, and everybody's all excited, right? The hype around Obama was insane, and it's created a bit of a cult of personality that persists to this day in 2020, all these years later. And if you are familiar with the content of my channel at all, you may or may not have seen the Barack Obama videos I've done, where he exploits a history that isn't his, one that he's used to really lock in a lot of people in this mindset and really push forward the victim narrative that his election to president was supposed to prevent or change. And at the end of the episode, the filmmaker, because it's shot all in a documentary style, he asked Huey, he's like, well, what do you think's going on? Because Huey's just at wit's end. Him and Uncle Ruckus had decided to leave the country, but Uncle Ruckus unfortunately got locked up protesting Obama, and so Huey was just stuck. And so he's like, yo, well, what do you see being, saying the problem? And Huey says, the end of America. And that stuck with me. And it really rings true, or it really, just pings at my brain as we are heading into January 6th, where the guy who replaced him, as far as perfect, if you're looking for perfection, you'll never find it, right? I mean, Obama said it himself. You can't let perfect be a obstacle to the good. Trump did good. Trump's done a lot of good. Trump, for all the rhetoric about him being the racist and sexist and all these other things, they all just didn't ring true. Yet we have this media that Clinton really locked in during with the Telecommunications Act, and Obama exploited in a lot of ways. Because I mean, think about it, a lot of those musical acts that were huge during Obama's time, right? I mean, Obama was in there with Katzenberg and a lot of he was more of the entertainer in chief, the media master in chief. I mean, super charismatic without question, but really, as he governed, he really leaned on this idea that somehow black equal victim, and instead of respecting everybody's different lineages and the different makeups that actually do make up, that do consist of what is quote unquote black, he just exploited the hell out of it. He really did, and continues to this day, which is why BLM was such a huge thing. And or like I or going back to the entertainment industry and musical acts such as Chance the Rapper or Kendrick Lamar. I mean, where are their hits at since he's been gone? Like a lot of that feels like maneuvering. And there was really in most of it, much of it is based off of that history that Granddad leans on. There was a great episode of the show where Huey just blasts Granddad. He's like, look, there's a whole bunch of people who ride off of the pain that only a few really felt of that generation. And he was talking about him back then. But one of the things Obama's done is allowed that history to be spread to black and brown people, and white privilege is such, I like, um until Obama's tenure, like white privilege and oh my goodness, white people and all these different concepts hadn't really just flown as far, like social justice. None of these concepts really had the grounding and the rooting that they did, and that they had until Obama came along. And like I said, Huey kind of called it, man. Like straight down the middle. Because like I said, coming January 16th, this is going to be a contested election, and no matter how it folds, somebody's not going to be happy. Somebody's going to be really not happy. And one of the things I fear is that it could actually lead to the destruction of this nation. The nation that, my grandparents, my great grandparents, my great great grandparents built. I do not sit here and believe in reparations or that I'm somehow owed because their sacrifice made it to whereas, hey, if give me an opportunity, just give me make sure give me an opportunity and I'll wow you. And one of the most dangerous things that we as a nation have allowed to really fester is the idea of communism and Marxism and stuff like that. And I don't believe that, anybody should be knocked for having those beliefs. I do believe, though, that those beliefs have no place in government. None of them. Because all it does is expand the welfare state, remove, remove manufacturing and the means and the opportunities that I was just speaking of, and has really pushed a lot of bad ideas that have been poisonous towards us all. And it's been like 50 years of this. So I do want to give a ton of props to Aaron Magruder. The show was fantastic. I can't recommend it enough to anyone who wants to go check out. It was this Huey Freeman guy that I should speak of. But yeah, at the end of that episode, he was 100% correct. The destruction of America. And we can really, and I hope I've just spent the past about 10 or so minutes explaining to you how we got there. But you may disagree. All the internet stuff. If you liked it, toss it a like, dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice. You want to get videos like this every single day, share it, because sharing is caring. And YouTube and Bitchute and like aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications. Get something from Teespring. Check me out on Patreon as well. Links in the description. And speak. Let me know. What do you guys think in the comments? I mean, we shall see where these chips land, because if they land on Biden, it's a bad call. It is a bad. It's really, really bad. And if it lands on Trump, then those who believe that, Biden really got this 100% on board, like everything was above board, they're gonna definitely feel some kind of way. And it's just the rest of us, like, hey, how can we push forward? But so if you have any suggestions, that's what my comment section's for. Until the next one.